boy, do I look weird. I was just looking at myself in the camera because you can actually see me for once in lighting. Like, I'm filming during the day. I think it's like 3 in the afternoon. Outside, I'm in my truck, so there's like really good lighting this time. So, yeah, you can actually make out that I'm a human being and not just one with the dark fog and like melting into the darkness of my truck or something. But, after I filmed that Skybound lore video last night, I got out of my truck, I forgot to lock the door, and I pulled the handle all fucking weird, and the damn thing, the alarm went off, in the middle of the suburbs, right? So there's all these people around, and I'm like, oh shit. I made like a 50-yard dash to the house over there to run inside and get my keys, and by the time I went to the door, it stopped. Stopped ringing, so. Anyway, let's get to the video. Well, first and foremost, I want to show you where I'm at, so you can kind of like look around here. Just to give you an idea of what happened last night when that horn went off. So, this is where my boyfriend lives, kind of in the middle of the suburbs of wherever the fuck Georgia. But yeah, you can see the whole of me this time. I have a drawstring tied to my pants. And yes, you can see my wonderful almighty setup here. It is godly, isn't it? Anyway, I just forgot I had my light on in here. Turn that shit off, don't need that. Anyway, I want to talk about my spiritual views. I filmed this last night, but I didn't like it and it ran too long. I'm going to bust this up into 2 parts. First, my spiritual views, and then secondly, my moral views. And my spiritual views are as follows. They're pretty fucking weird. I'm gonna try and explain it where you can follow it. It's some pretty crazy shit. But first, we need to go back to when I was a kid, to some paranormal shit that I experienced, for you to understand this. And when I was a kid, I had my first paranormal encounter when I was like 9. And you know, this was weird to me as a kid. So I was like 9 years old back in 2009, like I said before. And me and my friend Steven were out in the yard playing some game. I think we were playing like GTA Vice City. And yeah, GTA Vice City, real life. And we had like all these toy Nerf guns we were shooting each other with, pretending to jack cars. Because here's the deal. There was this old wrecked, rundown car in the woods. It was an old Mercury Cougar. Like 1987, I don't know. I can't remember the date, but it was an old car. And so we were off in the woods playing in this thing. He'd like get in it and I'd pull him out. Ah, fuck you. Come on, I'm taking your car. All this stuff. I'd get in, he'd pull me out. We just play around in it most of the time. And what we never noticed is that it was haunted. Now, there's a story behind this car. The story being that a guy that was driving one day wrecked in the woods, died. The car kind of went into flames and he burned up inside of the car, burned alive. And they didn't get the car at first. They didn't retrieve the vehicle at first. They just kind of left it there. And they got the guy out and, you know, buried him and all, but they left the vehicle. And that's weird. But anyway, me and Steven were out there playing one day and he kind of walks over to the car and he looks at the car. He's like, hey, there's somebody in here. Logan, look, come quick. There's somebody in the car. And I was like, well, what? And you can imagine I'd be like, who? So we run up to the car and there's a fucking dude sitting in it. Because now to paint a picture for you, there was a woodland-like path that kind of went to the car. There was this little wooded area that kind of ran down the side of our house. And there was a path through the woods. Because where I grew up is in Eatonton, Georgia, and in this really, really wooded area. So, there were all these. It was just like thick woods everywhere. You had this big lake called Lake Sinclair and all that was down the road from us. And anyway, like you could walk through the woods and go to Lake Sinclair, just kind of walk off into the lake and take a swim. It was very fun, by the way. But holy shit! Oh. I was in the woods one day, walking to the car, like I said, and Steven saw that, and we were like 20 feet away from the car, and we were down this path, and he's like, somebody in the car! And anyway, I looked and I said, "Hey!" And just to describe this thing for you that was in the car, it was what they call a shadow figure in the paranormal world. And it's this this entity or creature. I prefer creature. Well, not entity. I prefer. Well, you know, I made that video a while back called Dimensional Bleed. Was that what it was called? Yeah, Dimensional Bleeding. Where the idea was that different entities or creatures from different universes or different dimensions can for a temporary time bleed into this one. So what you're seeing as a ghost is actually a person that's looking at you thinking you're the ghost. So that's the idea there. But so what at the time we just thought it was a fucking phantom. But anyway, I was like, "Hey, who are you?" And the guy gets out of the car, he looks around, and there's an oak tree over here, and he walks behind the oak tree. And I said, "I'm gonna go run over there and see where he went." Steve said, "Well, you can do that. I'm taking my ass home." Which is exactly what he did. He went home. I don't blame him. But I went behind the tree and gone. And I was like, what the fuck did I just witness? And anyway, there was music coming from the car when the guy was sitting in it. And we went and looked in the car because I went back to the house. I went back to his house. And I got him back. I was like, "Come back over, man. We got to find out what's making the music." He's like, okay. And anyway, he follows me back out to the woods and we go back out to that car. And what do you know? There's no radio. We looked in it. There's no radio. There's no battery. There's not even an engine. There's nothing. It's just, I mean, we knew there was no engine or anything before, but we got to really looking at it and there was nothing. Nothing that could have made a radio power. There was no speaker in there, no Bluetooth speaker, nothing. It was just nothing. There was no way that music could have been coming from that car, but it was coming from the car. And the guy was gone. He just vanished. A couple of years later, I had another paranormal encounter. This is during probably this is around the time I was in 7th grade getting my daily beatings from the bastards at JMA. But I went to, I was at my house and, I invited Kyle and Steven over, and we were all hanging out. We were playing Black Ops 2. We were playing Black Ops 1. I had just gotten the Resurrection DLC. You remember that shit? We were playing Nacht der Untoten. Nacht der Untoten. There we go. Nacht der Untoten. That's hard as fuck for me to say, but you do it. But we're playing Nacht der Untoten, and Kyle and Steven came over, and we were all playing, hanging out, having a good time, and Steven says, "Hey, can I go to the kitchen and get something to drink?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, you don't have to ask." So he goes to the kitchen. He comes back screaming at the top of his lungs, runs into my room, and I was like, "What, are you having do you have hemorrhoids or something? You're screaming like you just got stabbed." And he's like, "There's a girl in there sitting on the counter." I was like, "Is it my mom?" He's like, No. And then we made a joke about how she'd break the counter off because there was this little part of the counter that stuck off, and he said, "She's sitting on that part, the little piece that hangs off." It's like, there's no way. That can't even hardly hold a pot of water. Thing's made out of fucking cardboard almost. He's like, "Well, there's a girl sitting on it. Come look." And we all walked in there and no girl. And I was like, "Steven, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "I swear to God, there was somebody sitting in here on the counter." I was like, "All right, I'll take your word for it." So I took his word for it, and we, I'm gonna lock the door this time, but, I don't know why I do that. It just gives me like a weird false sense of security, because really if somebody wanted to get in here, they just walk up, bust the window out, hit me in the head with a pimp cane, drag me on down to Kingdom Come, but, it's this fucking dude coming up the road. Look at this dude, man. Trying not to. He looks like he's wearing some kind of highlighter or something. Anyway, so we were going up. We went back to my room, and crazy shit started happening. So this light was flashing. The light in my bedroom. It would have been the. Let me think. It would have been. Yeah, my ceiling fan light. We had the ceiling fan switch turned completely on, but then it went off. The ceiling fan just turns off. And we were like, what? How'd that happen? And the switch was still flipped on, but the ceiling fan would turned off. This is all in the same night. I was like, what the fuck? And so I got up, I flip the switch off and back on, it comes back on. Then the light blows. The light doesn't explode or anything, it just kind of blows. It just and shuts off. I was like, oh fuck. And then my side table fan flipped over. I had a little side table sitting next to my bed. Oh, Jesus, here he comes again. He must be going on a walk or something with his dog. But anyway, that side table fan just flips over and falls on the floor. And we were like, what the fuck? What? Strange shit's going on. So we still slept there, but nothing else happened that night, but it was weird. And then I vividly recall the nightmares I'd have in, or visions, should I say, in middle school. He stopped with his dog for a minute. The dog stopped like it was gonna go pee over there or something, and he stopped with his dog. The dog was like, looking at me like I'm some kind of fucking retard. Because I'm sitting here in my tray, the dog keeps turning around looking at me like, I want to go play. Cute little son bitch. But anyway, it's like a weird bulldog or something. I used to have a bulldog when I was a kid. We named it Stump because it had no tail. Old Snumpy. But anyway, what was I gonna say? What was I talking about? Yeah. When I'd go to school, I'd get, like I mentioned before in my backstory video, I'll just do a briefing of it here, but I'd go to school. It started in 6th grade, but it was toward the end of 6th grade, and they went all the way through 7th grade. I'd get beaten on every fucking day at PE. They called it the Peg Logan game. It was like this fucked up, weird, distorted version. Do I have something in my hair? I don't think I did. I think it was just something on the... Yeah, I did. It was a piece of dust. I just saw it fly. I kept looking. I was like, there's something white in my hair. But anyway, I go to school. They'd beat on me every fucking day. They'd throw kickballs at me to the point that it'd knock me out. Or like I'd fall out on the ground, one or the other. And then they'd like get on top of me and they'd stomp on me. They'd like kick me in the face and beat on me. And I'd have like nosebleeds and shit. I'd see stars and crazy shit like that. So, you know, it's a wonder I'm alive, but, not for long, but you know what I mean. I'd go home and every night, now I just thought it was because of the bullying, but I'd have nightmares. And you could tell they were dreams. These weren't like visions, but it led up to something that was so fucking weird. It happened toward the end of 7th grade. During Christmas holidays, I remember this vividly. I was laying in my bed at night and I was kind of fucking around on my old phone, which was a Samsung. My grandpa always called it the Slung Dung. The Slung Dung. It was old shitty like knockoff. It was a Samsung, but it was just like one of the, knockoffs from the mainline phones. Like you got the S3, which was the big one at the time, and then next to the S3 had all these little tiny like cheapo phones. That's what I had. But that was a good phone. Just was kind of low performance, but everything from that era was. But well, everything phone related, that is. But anyway, I was laying in bed that night and I was kind of looking up at the ceiling. I turned my phone off and I was just laying there thinking about shit. Can't remember what I was thinking about Modern Warfare 3 coming out, and I was like, fuck, I want that game for my birthday. I'm just laying there thinking about this shit, and then I kind of fall asleep. I just dozed off, and I had this damn dream. Now, have you, a show of hands for anyone that has ever dreamed that they died? Like, they die in their dream and they lurch back awake? I did in this dream, but I didn't lurch back awake. And that's what's weird. And the dream was super vivid. And here's what happened. While I was asleep, I had this dream that I was like in my 30s. And I had like red hair. It was like dyed red. And it was like the longest shit. And anyway, I had this beard. I looked like a fucking lumberjack. And I even had a flannel shirt on. Had these banged up jeans. And anyway, I was out. I looked like a fucking Kurt Cobain knockoff in my 30s. But anyway, I was out in the woods with my grandpa. And we were squirrel hunting. I don't even squirrel hunt, so I don't know where this dream came from. No kind of hunting for that matter. I go fishing sometimes, but I don't really hunt much. But I went out into the woods with my grandpa in this dream, should have said vision, and we brought a ladder with us in case the squirrel wouldn't fall out of the tree. And we were shooting up in the trees, and he shot one. He said, "Oh shit, it didn't fall." He's like, "Logan, can you get the ladder and go up there for me and get us?" Yeah, sure thing. And I get the ladder out, put it up against the tree. And he's like, "Just be careful not to fall. That's a really, really high drop." And I was like, I got you. I'm not gonna fall. And anyway, I'm climbing up the ladder. I go up a few branches because the ladder doesn't reach all the way. So I go up a few branches, and then I kind of reach up for the squirrel, and I grab the squirrel, but then my foot slips and I fall 50 feet out of the tree. And because I was like up in the damn top, like near the top of the tree, and it was like 40, 45 feet. I don't know if it was quite 50, but I fell long enough to kill me. And I fell and hit right flat on my back on the ground, and we got the fucking squirrel. It was in my hand. I fell with the squirrel, but lost me in the process. And it was the weirdest, craziest shit because sorry, I didn't sleep worth a fuck last night. But anyway, I was laying there on the ground dying, and like all my senses were slowly going away. I started hallucinating and shit. But anyway, initially when I first hit, I hit on my back, and then my head went back and hit like that on the ground, and it knocked the shit out of me. I was seeing stars, and I remember I had extreme pain in the back of my head, and I couldn't talk or anything. I was just kind of mumbling shit, and I couldn't move my legs, but I could move my arms. And I was laying there, and my grandpa comes and runs over, and he's like, "Holy shit, are you okay?" And I'm like, and he's like, "Fuck, yeah, okay, I'm gonna call 911. And he's going through his, he's got a bag over here with all of his shit in it, and he's going through his bag looking for his phone. Meanwhile, I'm just laying here, and all this crazy shit's happening. So first and foremost, I'm looking around with my eyes. I can't really move my head much because I'm in such pain in my neck and my head, but I'm looking like this, kind of turning my head a little bit, kind of looking at shit going on. And then anyway, what happens is my vision fades in one eye, kind of fades to black, but I'm seeing all these floaters and the stars and shit too. But my right eye goes, and then a few minutes later, my left eye goes. And then as my hearing is slowly fading away, I hear him run over to me, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm 911. This is hey, this is an emergency. My grandson just fell out of the tree." And then you can hear the lady on the phone talking, and then everything just kind of fades to black. My hearing goes away. I stop being able to hear him, and then silence. And it was just like, you'd think you'd wake up right after that, right? But no, it stayed like that for what felt like an hour. And what felt like days, it felt like a long fucking time, that black nothing. It just felt like an eon. And then I woke up. I just kind of calmly woke up, like you just didn't sleep good, like you just woke up in the middle of the night and had to pee or something, which is exactly what it was. I just so happened to have woken up. Turns out I was only asleep for an hour, but I woke up and I was like, weird ass dream. I gotta pee. Anyway, I went to the bathroom, did my business, came back to my bed, sat there from the side of my bed thinking about what I just saw, and I was like, that's weird. That is fucking weird. And I'd never had a dream like that before. And it wasn't like a depression-fueled dream of me committing suicide. I've had plenty of those, believe me, but had one last night. But I've had these other weird vision-like dreams too, where it's death from a totally different reason. And anyway, I was like, this is a fucking weird dream. And anyway, I go to sleep. Think nothing of it. I thought nothing of it for quite a while. But anyway, I had a few more dreams after that, and I'll just briefly go over those. One of them was, I was at school, and some kid stabbed me to death in the locker room. This could have been because I was being bullied at school so badly, and I had a nightmare about it. That's probably what that was. I'm just going over dreams where I've died. And yes, I did lurch awake after that one, so that's more than likely just a nightmare. I had another one though that wasn't, where it was almost like seeing the fucking future. The damn nuclear war had happened, and half the world was destroyed, and Georgia and South Carolina had formed into its own sovereign country, and I can't remember what it was called, but I lived in this little shack in the woods. It was like this little colony. A couple of friends of mine lived there, and some random people. I have no idea who they were, but I seemed to be close to them in the vision. And I was living off in the woods, and I was in my mid-50s. And I was living in this little colony outside of South Carolina, what they called the neutral zone. It was this area that was I'm serious. This shit was detailed, dude. And it was this area between the nuclear radiated zones and the little sovereign state area. It was the little habitable area on the outside. Really bad area, a lot of crime there, a lot of bandits and shit, but it was habitable. And I kind of lived there with my folks and stuff in this damn little village of shacks and shit, this little shanty village. And I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? And you know what's weird? In the dream, I wore this trench coat. It was a leather trench coat. Guess what I got for my birthday that year? Now I had this dream before. I had this dream about 2 years ago, before I got the trench coat. The trench coat in my dream was a brown leather trench coat with this old school looking collar. It looked like something that you would have gotten in the 1980s. What do I get on my birthday that year? My dad used to have an old trench coat that was a brown leather trench coat with an old school looking collar on it, and all these weird buttons going down. Just these drawstring looking things hanging off the inside of it, and a bunch of pockets going down the sides. That's exactly what I was wearing in the dream. And anyway, my grandma gives it to me for my birthday that year. She was like, here, this is your dad's. We want to give it to you and pass it down. I was like, I saw that shit in the dream. And it kind of fucking weirded me out, because I was like, if I just kind of brushed that off as a fever dream. But then a couple months later, I get the damn trench coat and I meet a dude that looks exactly like the fucking dude from the dream. There was a guy that I had no idea who he was in the dream, but I met him later, and we didn't end up staying friends very long. But I met this guy, and he wanted to be in my band that I was forming at the time called Oakwood, and he was wanting to be a drummer for me. And anyway, his name was Levi, and I was like, holy shit! And he sent me a picture of him. He looked exactly like the dude that was in the dream, just a younger version. I was like, whoa, that's fucking weird. That's really fucking weird. And I started thinking about all this stuff and putting two and two together. Hold on, I'm gonna hold my phone a little bit differently for a minute. Can I hold it without my thumb being in the shot? Yes, I can. Okay. It's gonna be a little bit shaky for a minute, but this hand's kind of going to sleep, so I need to give it a minute to, not be asleep. But anyway, hold on, let me readjust just a little bit here. I don't want to press the button. Okay. Anyway, what happened after that is I started putting the pieces together. And you see, I used to think about a lot of shit all the time. I used to call myself the pothead philosopher, even though, I'm not a pothead or anything. I don't really do any kind of drugs, even the ones that aren't really bad for you, like marijuana, but I just would rather be sober, because I'm more creative when I'm sober. But I was in the woods, and I could see what used to happen. You remember my backstory video? I mentioned that when I was younger, and my stepdad was a piece of fucking garbage, which he was, and my mom was too. And so what would happen is I'd open my window, I'd sneak out and go to the woods and sleep naked in the forest near like rotting stumps so I could smell death. Okay, yeah, while I was doing that, I'd lay on the ground and I'd look at the stars and I'd think about shit, and I'd think about all this weird shit. And I started thinking about those dreams I had. And I put the pieces together, and I started thinking, this is later on. This is a couple of years after I'd had these weird vision-like dreams. And I looked, and now one thing I want to mention is in these dreams, they were not lucid dreams. But I could feel everything. Like if I reached out with my hand and I touched like this knob up here, I could feel the damn plastic. I could feel everything. When I was walking, I could feel the leaves crunching beneath my feet in these dreams. It was the weirdest, most detailed thing I had ever experienced. dream wise. Like most time in a dream, you don't feel stuff to that detail, or at least for me, I've never had. And I did then, and I was like, this is fucking freaky. But anyway, I started putting two and two together, and I put all this together. I was like age 16, and I was out in the woods, and I was like, fuck. Because this is after Steven left, stepdad Steven, after he moved out, and but I was still in that habit of going in the woods because I was already mind broken and mind fucked from those days. But I still do that to this day too, and probably always will until my imminent demise. But I used to hang out in the woods and do this shit. And one day I was thinking about, like I've reiterated 7 times now because I do that shit. I forget my train of thought and I go back over the same thing over and over till I get my train of thought. But anyway, I was laying in the woods looking at the stars that night, and I started thinking about the dreams, and I said, you know what? How vast is the universe? And I started thinking about just how big in scale everything is, and how it can't be infinitely random. This hand's starting to go to sleep. You switch back now. It can't be infinitely random for infinity. It doesn't make any damn sense that things just go on and on and on and forever, and it's just infinitely different. Now, does it go on and on forever? Yes. Does it start repeating at some point? I believe so. It makes perfect sense to me that things eventually would start to repeat. You go far enough, you'll find another Milky Way galaxy with another Earth, another Logan Cousins sitting right here making a fucking video. You will find this. Perhaps I'm older. Perhaps I'm older in this other reality, and I'm actually in my 50s or something like that. Minor things are different. But, yeah. Eventually you're gonna hit another Earth with another me sitting right here in this damn yard making videos. And, here's what I think. Here's my spiritual views. I believe that consciousness and self-awareness are, interconnected but also separated by some substantial degree. And the thought on that is that your sentient control over yourself here is temporary. You will one day die, or so it seems according to everyone else, but really, the way I see it, reality is just a dream. Like, some say it's a simulation. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a dream. Like you go to sleep, you have very vivid, lucid dreams sometimes. This is exactly what that is. Life is like a dream. If I was to walk over there to that tree and slam my head into it so hard I died, it would not matter because I just wake up in the next life. You see where I'm going with this. So the thought process on it is that if you die, it doesn't matter because you're just going to wake up again. And nothing you really do here is going to dictate what kind of life you're going to have next because it's just a simple continuation of your own consciousness. So what happens is you die here and you lose control over this version of yourself, but it jumps to the next one. And you probably say, well, how do you explain ghosts and stuff? And I did earlier. I did like months ago with the dimensional bleeding video because I have this theory of mine that there's different dimensions. Like different, like you have the 3rd dimension, then you have the 4th. There's like a parallel universe above this one accessible through a wormhole. And occasionally the two intertwine somehow because, there's microscopic wormholes all around us. So it would make sense to me that at some point something's able to temporarily pass through, or you can look through it to the other side. So maybe you don't see the wormhole, but you kind of look and you see a ghost standing there, but actually you're seeing a person that's looking back at you and they think you're the ghost. So it's this weird thing. And that's how I explain phantoms, ghosts, apparitions, and things like that. But, my view of the afterlife is that there isn't one. You just simply keep on keeping on. You just continue. And what'll happen is you die here, you wake up from it like a dream, because what I started thinking about in the past was these dreams I was having was more than likely something that actually happened to me in a different version of myself somewhere else. So when I actually did climb that tree and die, I actually, in a way, am dead and alive at the same time. So what happened is I climbed up that tree, and yes, I did die. It was not a dream. I saw what happened to me in a different version of myself in a different life that I had. And I actually did die that day. But then I woke up here. You see what I'm going with this? You see what I'm saying? And that dream where I got stabbed to death in the locker room, perhaps I really did get stabbed to death in the locker room. Perhaps the bullying that I received at school went a little bit too far that day, and I saw my death in a different life. So, because I believe that consciousness is connected across the universe and all variations of yourself, what I think is that when you actually die somewhere else, you see it in a dream. You actually experience death many, many times through your life. Through seeing it, maybe in a dream, or maybe you kind of, have you ever, I don't know if any of you've ever had this, but I've had this a lot. I'll be in the store. I'll be kind of walking around looking for shit, making a 50-yard dash to the fucking Pop-Tarts over there. I don't eat Pop-Tarts anymore. Disgusting, but I used to, eat them for breakfast sometimes, but I'd be walking down here to the Pop-Tarts and I'd black out for a minute. Not like pass out, but I'd kind of see some weird shit. Everything would kind of go to black real quick. I'd see a quick something. I couldn't make out what it was, and then I'd go right back to my normal vision. I don't know if you ever heard anything like that. And also, I've predicted things in the future a couple of seconds before they've happened, which is odd. Which is another thing. Perhaps I'm seeing in another life. Perhaps there's another version of me doing the exact same fucking thing that I was doing at that time, and I'm just seeing what's going to happen a couple seconds later in that other life. And it just so happens to coincide with this one. So I was, what this was is I was walking in the kitchen, walking towards the kitchen at my mom's house. She was in there doing something, and she said, "Hey, Logan, come here." I was like, "Okay." And I get up out of my chair, and I'm walking to the living room. And I was about halfway there. I couldn't see the kitchen from where I was at, but I stopped for a minute, and I got this like weird headache, and I kind of blacked out for a second. And I kind of saw my mom for some reason. It was almost like a dream that lasted for a couple seconds. I saw my mom. Oh yeah, my drum. I saw my mom walk over to the kitchen cabinet and open it and shut it. Get something out of it and shut it. What did I see when I walked in the kitchen? I walked in the kitchen and she says, "I'm going to get this stuff out the cabinet. Can you go to the fridge and start cleaning the stuff out the fridge?" It was something that had made a mess in the fridge. She was like, "Can you clean the fridge out for me?" But she walks over to the cabinet, opens it, and grabs a box of rice and closes it. I saw that very thing a couple seconds right before I walked into the kitchen. So it's weird shit like that. And I started putting it all together, and I said, you know what? I'm seeing something that I'm sure a lot of other people have seen too, but I'm just I'm not the first one to put the shit together, but I'm the first one to try and I don't know, maybe make a video about it or something, because I'm sure a lot of people have thought similar things to this. I'm just making a video about it now, but yeah, who are these people? They ride by every fucking day. Oh, holy shit, that chick was cute. There was a chick that rode by, she had like black hair or something on the left side. I was like, whoa, damn. Does she listen to Erebus? No, I'm joking. Erebus for the win! No, I'm joking. I had to be stupid right there for a second, but anyway. Yeah. But, I started putting all this shit together. And also, I was looking for a way out from Abrahamism too. I had already forsaken Christianity. At the time, I was a pagan, and then I left paganism. And I still love paganism. I read all these pagan texts, and I think next to this would be that would be the second best thing. If the two dominant religions in the world were neo-paganism, and then this shit, the world will be a better place. Just some spiritual beliefs or something will be the two dominant religious forces. Then you know what? That'd be a happy world. So long that, I have this quote that I've said before: one church is too many churches. That's too much church. One church is too much. Need to demolish all of them. Get rid of all of it. Have a spiritual system that's more, less violent and less hateful. No moral laws. That stuff shit's for the birds. I'll get more on that in my, morality views and lifestyle views video after this, because I've had people ask me, what do I think of, life, and should you strive to make it big? No, I'll get to that in the next video, but I won't spoil it for you here, but I'll save it for the next one. But anyway, yeah, so I believe when you die, it's not a death. Death is just a word to describe your ceasing to control yourself here. See, because once you're dead, you're done. You can't make anything happen anymore. Say if I died after releasing the first Erebus record, Nightfall, I died after that. Say I shot myself. Then after that, well, you're dead. I can't make another record. But I can, because the thing is, I'm not dead. Everyone's eternal. But in order to get eternal, you have to die. And that's the view. In order to realize, say if you're living a terrible version of life here, say if your life here is shit, you can't make it nowhere, everything's just looking bad for you. If you died, you can very possibly go to a better version of yourself and a better life. Am I saying to kill yourself and go to no, I'm not. I'm not saying to do anything weirdly drastic and freaky. I'm saying try to make the best of your life here, but just know that when you die, there's another one out there that's possibly better than this one, to give you a bit of hope. So like you're thinking, fuck, this shit sucks, man. Everything's fucking garbage, nothing's looking up for me. Everything's bad. But one day, it's going to be something better. And that's the idea. But say if I released Nightfall and died, well, guess what? On the other Earth, millions and millions of light years out there in the cosmos, guess what? I have released a second album, and I'm still writing shit. There's a universe out there right now where I've already written Skybound. I'm in my 30s. Almost 40 years old, and I've got like 12 Erebus albums to my name. Have my own record label and shit. Have my own band. We did 7 consecutive world tours. There's a reality out there where this has happened. And if you're watching this and you've achieved like nothing, if say you're poor and stuff, and I don't shit on you for that. I'm just saying, let's say that you haven't really gone nowhere. There is a version of yourself out there where you're a millionaire. And if you were to die here, you could possibly just wake up in the bed as a millionaire version of yourself. You get up and you're like, shit, what do I have planned for today? Oh yeah, let's go to my corporation. And you're like, cause you're like the CEO and all this shit. You know what I mean? It's, but my view is that once you die here, you lose the memories of this life. So once you go to the next one, you gain the memories of that one. But the thing is the memories from all of them would be similar in a way. So you're not really losing much, because in all lives, for the most part, it's exactly the same, minus a few changes here and there. Like changes in time and stuff. Like maybe you wake up as yourself in your 40s, but you're 19 now. Say you're 19, you get hit by a car, you die, you wake up in your 30s. It's weird shit like that. And then it'll look to you, and the next life you'll be like, fuck, that was a bad nightmare. Hey, say your wife's name is, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, I just had this horrible nightmare that I died when I was 19. Yeah, a bus hit me. Isn't that some weird shit? What were we doing today? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get in the shower so we can go to Walmart. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You just see it as a dream. You'd see your previous death that just happened like it was a dream. And then, what I'm getting at here is that it's seamless as well. It's not that there's some period of time between your previous death and your next life. It's immediate. As soon as it has happened, you wake up. So as far as I know, I've died 7 times or more. As far as I know, I'm already dead. I mean, of course I'm alive right now, but I'm dead at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck. Damn it, I forgot to turn my ringer volume down, and I can't turn it off during this. You probably heard that on camera, but, whatever. It's fine. But, yeah, for all I know, I've already died. For all I know, I'm a corpse. I'm buried in the ground 6 feet under. For all I know, that happened yesterday. And this morning when I woke up, I just woke up from a life where I died. See what I'm saying? It's a weird, crazy belief that I have. So in a way, yes, I think that I'm already dead. But I think it's happening so quickly, the cycle between death and waking up and continuing is so damn quick that you don't really notice that much. So like, say if I was filming this video and I blacked out, I would immediately continue into another life where I'm sitting here making this video by coincidence. See, it's random what version of yourself you end up as, because there's so many versions of yourself out there and you just jump into another. So it's random, but it's very possible that you just end up in this version again. So like, say I bust my head out there in the concrete, and then I wake up in a life where I fell out on the concrete but didn't die. I just get up off the ground, fuck, and it seems like I just fell and got right back up, but actually I fell and died and then got right back up because I woke up and continued. You see how confusing and weird this is? But yeah, that's what I believe. That's like a long video there, but not the longest I've ever made, but trying to keep it short, relatively short. But yeah, that's my spiritual beliefs in a nutshell. And I wouldn't mind if this caught on and like somebody watches this and they're like, you know what? That's pretty cool. And then they kind of add to it, or maybe they, make their own thing out of it, or they customize it to their individual self. Cause I believe that spirituality should be an individual concept. It shouldn't be something that's collectivistic. It shouldn't be like the fucking Bible or church where everyone has to believe the same thing and follow a strict moral code and fuck that shit. Burn your church down. Fuck you. It should be individualistic in nature. You should follow your own heart and your own beliefs and do what you think is right and fuck everybody else. So that's my beliefs, and I wish it was everyone else's. I wish everyone else thought that way, but whatever. I'm not saying I wish my beliefs is what everybody else thought, like my spiritual beliefs. I'm saying that moral set right there, I wish is what a lot of people follow. But anyway, they don't. So that's why society sucks so fucking bad. But anyway, yeah. It's nice talking to you all, and I'm going to end this and start making my video. Just going to press end, press play, start making my video about my moral views and things. So, signing off. See you later.